Well, for more on this, let's bring in Republican Congressman from Pennsylvania, Dan Meuser. Congressman, thank you so much for joining us. I don't even know where to start here. This astronomical sums of money, Democrats just keep doling it out like it's candy. And it has real impacts for real Americans who really are going to see their cost of living and their quality of life completely deteriorate.
Well, you just said it very well. I couldn't agree with you more. This level of spending is beyond just unprecedented. It's just massive. It's of historical consequences. Look, we've spent, in order to get through this recovery and provide relief, we've spent nearly $5 trillion already. Much of it was essential, much of it was critical, but it's done. We have now in front of us an agreed upon bipartisan bill for transportation infrastructure, that's hard infrastructure, that I want to be supportive of. I am supportive of. I was supportive of it during the Trump administration. It was agreed upon. President Biden agreed to it. Within moments after that, they said, well, you can't have this without an additional $3 trillion, $4 trillion, $6 trillion in spending. So what they've created is that our bipartisan, very important bill for the American people really serves as a Trojan horse to allow this monstrosity take place, along with the monstrosity of spending, a monstrosity of taxes. It is dangerous. You said it very well. It will drive inflation. We're already seeing it. It will crush the fundamentals of our economy. And look what it does for generations to come. The level of debt. Another $5 trillion on top of the $5 trillion that's already been created.
I mean, I want to take a look at some of these things Democrats are trying to fund in this bill: physical infrastructure, investment in climate change, healthcare, family service programs. They do a very good job of getting people to focus on the things that pretty much all Americans want. But at the end of the day, these things aren't infrastructure. We've got roads that are crumbling, bridges that are really ready to fall into the river beneath them. And all in the middle are the American people who are going to see rising taxes actually end up with rising costs, because those costs always inevitably end up on the backs of hardworking Americans.
You know, you said it. We're talking about an expansion of 100,000 or 85,000 of IRS agents. The Climate Corps is another 85,000. See, the problem is those are long-term spending initiatives. I mean, when federal government makes those hires, they're there to stay. And then add onto it Obamacare expansions. That's never going to go away. So we're talking about a huge expansion of entitlements that is unprecedented and will linger with us probably forever. That'll be impossible to pay for, even with these higher taxes. And the worst part is, I don't think that'll get done. Now, they're talking reconciliation, so that's quite dangerous. But they're jeopardizing, the important piece here, too, is they're jeopardizing this very important $1.2 trillion transportation infrastructure bill. And that's really the shame of it. So in the end, we either get nothing done, or we have an enormous expansion of entitlements with nothing to show for it. It's not even a new bridge or modernizing of our roads.
It's really crazy. Anybody who's paying attention knows the most dangerous word in Washington, D.C. is temporary. It's just a synonym for permanent. Look, really, let's focus on the key issue here. You bring up the fact that we have all this expansion of spending. We have already allocated, with this COVID relief bill that had very little to do with COVID, the second COVID relief bill that had very little to do with COVID, money that's earmarked for school districts, pipelines of cash being funneled into blue states for actually locking down the economy, a reward for penalizing those workers. Why can't we get common sense, whether it's Joe Manchin and a robust group of members of Congress, to say there's enough money already allocated here, let's put it to use to improve America today?
Well, once again, you said it well. Look, even the unemployment compensation, it was necessary for a while, but the level of waste, abuse, and fraud that has taken place is just starting to hit the news. Billions of dollars of fraud was in that unemployment compensation. And I think, look, we had a deal, right? The senators went over, the problem solvers in Congress agreed upon a very similar proposal. We have an opportunity here for a historic $1.2 trillion spent over 8 years, targeted for hard transportation infrastructure and revitalization and broadband and port development, a lot of good things. And it's being completely jeopardized by this desire to have this one party, completely partisan expansion of government that you can't even wrap your arms around if you were King Kong.
It's really crazy. Our unifier-in-chief, President Biden, pledged to unite America, has successfully unified the far left with the left. Glad that you're on the case to make sure we can safeguard America's future. Congressman Dan Meuser, we appreciate you. God bless you. Talk to you again soon.
God bless you. I appreciate it.